When starting a business, entrepreneurs are often intentional about selecting their venue name. That's just what owners of Forbidden Brewing Company in southwest Minnesota did, using the town's history, and a story that dates back to 1872.
The very first 4th of July, Worthington was a temperance town. One of the temperance people in town had busted open a barrel. Professor Humiston was his name. Some of the settlers had brought out to celebrate the 4th of July with. Well, they didn't take too well to that, and so they marched down and they got another keg of beer, and they took the other keg of beer that he had busted open, and they dug a hole and buried it in his front yard, placed the new barrel on top of where he had they had just buried that barrel of beer, and they proceeded to stand around and guard the barrel so he couldn't bust it open, and they invited everybody out to have a party on Professor Humiston's lawn. So that's where we kind of got the name from it.
Okay, here's the nobles, that's just plain and simple.
Kind of the deciding factor for us to open up was the previous 4 or 5 years before that, we had been having a Oktoberfest celebration out of our house, where I'd brew a bunch of beer, and then we'd invite the homebrew club out of Marshall to come down, and they would serve some of their beer at it as well. And it got to the point where my wife said my hobby was getting too expensive to just have these parties, so we either had to quit having the parties or go into the business full time. So I made the decision to go full time.
Like any kind of flight, or do you want a good flight?
Anything. Awesome.
We have, right now, I think we've got 10 of our own that are made in-house here. And as a brew pub under Minnesota law, we can have guest taps on as well. So right now we've got currently 2 other guest taps on. Our top 2 would be like our Juice Joint IPA, which is a citrus IPA. And then we've got our Paycheck, which is named after our town Turkey Day. Turkey Racer Paycheck is the name of the bird that races in it. And that's a honey wheat jalapeno beer. And that one's been very popular. So I thought that would probably just be a summer brew, but people like that one enough, we have to brew it all year long. So we've had great customer support, both locally and regionally. We had opened just 6 months prior to COVID, and in Minnesota we could, for a period of time, for about 14 months, we were either reduced capacity or no capacity, and we had to sell beer out our windows that we have in here. That's the only thing that kept us going during that time, was the support of the community, and we're very blessed to have a community that was able to support us during that time. You know, a brew pub is meant for people to come in, set their phones down on the table, put them in their pockets or whatever, sit down and have conversations, and learn about their friends, their families, their neighbors, the other businesses in towns. You know, that's what a brew pub has been for hundreds of years, is for people in the community to just come down and share ideas and thoughts. You know, get acquainted with your neighbors. And, you know, I think that's been something that we've been somewhat successful with, and we just keep on continuing to try to promote that.
Oh, here we go. Cheers.
Her birthday, she's 80.
80, yeah. Cheers.